Hey everyone! Today, let's know about some of the weird facts about Rasputin. Let's start the video, but before that, I request you to show your love by subscribing to the channel and liking this video so that I can bring more exciting ones like this. From peasant to trusted advisor and friend of Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra, Rasputin is one of the most intriguing figures in the late Russian Empire. A monk with a very special reading of Orthodox Christianity, self-declared healer, and quite the seducer, Gregory Rasputin's rise and fall inspired generations of writers, filmmakers, and even singers. While his name is famous worldwide, his story is still a mystery. Rasputin was the only child. Not much is known about Rasputin's early years. As far as historians are concerned, his years before his religious conversion are a mystery. It is said that Gregory Rasputin was born to a family of 7 children. However, none of his brothers and sisters reached adulthood. Being born in the peasantry in a small Siberian village named Pokrovskoye, living conditions were not easy. It was common for most families to procreate as much as possible to ensure at least one child could reach adulthood. Hence, as per keeping up his enchanting reputation, he was the one who survived. He started out as a peasant. The future monk remained a peasant for the largest part of his life. It wasn't until the 1890s that he integrated into the Orthodox Church. Until then, Rasputin is said to have lived a peaceful peasant life with his wife and children. Yes, Rasputin married, had children, and lived quite a peaceful peasant life before a religious experience in 1897 turned his world upside down. Joined an illegal sect. Rasputin went on a pilgrimage in 1897. He visited various towns and churches and discovered the Kleist sect. One of the many beliefs of this sect was that it was only by committing sins and repenting that one could get close to God. Rasputin's religious awakening is often linked to him joining the Kleisti. Additionally, following his awakening, Rasputin traveled all over the Russian Empire, declaring himself as a holy man with supernatural abilities such as healing. Probably familiar with hypnosis. Shortly after the revolution of 1905, Rasputin was introduced by the royal household. Over the years, he got closer to the Romanovs and in 1907 helped stabilize the condition of the sick young heir Alexei. This even would gain him the favors of Nicholas II and more particularly of his wife Alexandra. While he indeed helped young Alexei, it is most probably due to hypnosis skills that he developed during his religious awakening. Hypnosis was very common among Orthodox priests. Rasputin often used his abilities especially to impress ladies of the Russian nobility. Terrible manners and horrible hygiene. Rasputin's manners were unfit for Russian nobility. Like most peasants, his lifestyle prior to his introduction to the royal household was simple. The use of spoons, forks, and knives had yet to be generalized among the peasantry, and thus the monk struggled to adapt to his new entourage. His bad manners were excessive even for the peasantry. It is said that he used to lick spoons before serving others and often had portions of food in his beard. In addition, Rasputin rarely washed and often smelled bad. Called himself Christ in miniature. In 1897, Rasputin traveled around the country, supposedly healing people with his unnatural powers. He progressively developed a reputation as a mystic and declared himself a holy man. He embraced this reputation so strongly that he would go so far as to present himself as such to the Romanovs and many other nobles. He claimed to be sent by God to save the Russian Empire, knew the time of his death, and said to the French ambassador that, despite his terrible sins, he is Christ in miniature. Rasputin seduced several noblewomen. Rasputin indulged in several activities considered sinful. The mad monk, as he was called by many, was a heavy drinker. It is said that he rarely sobered up, and when he did, it was only to spend time with various ladies of the court. In fact, despite his severe lack of hygiene, Rasputin managed to gain the favors of a lot of noblewomen. It is even said that he had an affair with the Empress Alexandra. While this is still up to debate, it is certain that Rasputin's influence on the Tsarina was so great that she blindly implemented his advice when her husband left her in charge of the country in 1916. Had a major influence on World War I. Rasputin opposed to Russia's entry into World War I. He claimed that the conflict would be disastrous for the country and have cataclysmic consequences for the monarchy. As his advice was not heeded, Rasputin insisted on going to the front to bless Russian troops. This was refused to him as the army's commander-in-chief, Grand Duke Nicholas, vowed to have him hanged if he got anywhere near the front lines. However, Rasputin correctly predicted the early disaster defeats of the Russian Empire. This pushed Tsar Nicholas II to heed his advice to take command of the army, thus abandoning St. Petersburg to his wife, who was under the monk's influence. Predicted his own death. In a letter from December 1916, Rasputin wrote, "I feel that I shall leave before January 1st. If it was your relations who have wrought my death, then none of your children will remain alive for more than 2 years." It would indeed be the Tsar's relations that ended the life of Rasputin. Growing weary of his lasting influence, some of the most prominent noblemen of Petrograd plotted his assassination in December 1916, 2 months before the start of the February Revolution that would end Romanov rule. Was the target of an assassination attempt. On the 12th of July 1914, a peasant woman named Chionya Guseva, a supporter of Iliodor, approached Rasputin on the streets and stabbed him in the stomach. The mad monk managed to run away and survive the wound. The would-be assassin was later found insane and isolated in an asylum in Tom. Iliodor fled to Norway right after learning of the failed attempt. Resistance to his assassins. Prince Felix Yusupov, nobleman and significant opponent to the mad monk, lured Rasputin to his palace on the 29th December 1916. With co-conspirators Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich and Deputy Vladimir, Prince Yusupov fed the monks some cyanide-laced cakes and drinks. But despite the high quantity of consumed poison, Rasputin did not die and continued indulging himself in the various offered commodities. Yusupov and his allies shot the monks several times, but even then, Rasputin survived. However, the mad monk found himself incapacitated by the several wounds he received and was thrown in the Malaya Nevaska River. The water found in his lungs suggests that Grigory Rasputin died by drowning at the age of 47. He was one mysterious man, and his eyes did the talking in many ways than usual. Well, that's it for today. I hope you're liking Nerdies discoveries. Can't wait to hear the next video to learn more and be fascinated about. See you on the next. Bye!